Book summary: Think and Grow Rich, the landmark bestseller now revised and updated for the 21st century by Napoleon Hill. A great number of us wish for wealth and financial independence, but wishing alone isn't going to help us achieve our goals. If we want to get rich and realize our dreams, we need to recognize a burning desire within us. For instance, even after more than 10,000 failed experiments, Thomas Edison could not be shaken from his goal of inventing an electric light source. He was plain and simple, driven by the desire to make his dream come true. And after years of hard work, he did just that when he invented the light bulb. Writer Fannie Hurst had a similar experience. She had to suffer over 36 rejections before a single one of her short stories was published in a newspaper. From then on, her career as a successful novelist and playwright took off. Her burning desire had proven stronger than the frustration she felt about being rejected, and she ultimately met with success. So it's essential for those of us who want to be successful to examine our own personal attitude towards setting our goals and dreams. How do we feel about our goals and dreams? Are they only castles in the sky? Or is our burning desire strong enough to make them come true one day? Napoleon Hill, author of this 1930s classic, will remind you of an older, wiser, slightly wacky uncle who advises you about careers, life, and love. This book is a wonderful collection of tips, many based on the ideas of Hill's mentor Andrew Carnegie, that range from the practical, how to prepare a resume, to surprisingly New Age-like mystical talk about the infinite powers of the universe. Of course, like an old uncle, Hill can get long-winded and repetitive at times, but since he packs so much wisdom into his slender book, you will want to reread it over and over, repetitions and all. His classic compendium will interest anyone who is dangling from the career ladder and wondering how to prosper. Key takeaways: Your thoughts are a secret wealth generator. Desire, hopes, and strategies increase wealth. Develop faith in your ability to succeed by telling yourself that you will triumph. You don't need higher education to earn higher degrees of knowledge and wealth. Create vivid mental portraits of your success. Imagination is the workshop of the mind. To maximize your abilities, work with a great team. Make it your mastermind. Don't let short-term failure seduce you. Success often lurks in the shadows. Remain committed to your goals and your mission statement. Nothing beats a mix of passion and discipline. You can mold and tap into your mind's deepest chambers. Chapter 1: Goal setting and detailed planning are the basis of every achievement. Every success story begins with people who know what they want to achieve. So before you begin chasing after any old dream, you should start by defining your own personal goal as precisely as you can. For example, if you want to get rich, you should decide precisely how much money you want to make. Additionally, you must have a clear understanding of when you want to achieve your goal and what you're prepared to invest to accomplish it. Because setting a specific goal is pointless if it's floating in some indeterminate future where you'll only ever be able to pursue it half-heartedly. It's also important to come up with a plan that outlines every step you'll need to take until the realization of your goal. And once you have a plan, get cracking. Don't waste another minute. The following method comes in handy if you want to make sure that your desire for success is anchored deeply enough in your own thoughts and actions. First, write down your goal and your detailed plan for achieving it. Then, read it aloud twice every day, once in the morning after you get up and once every night before going to bed. Follow these recommendations and it'll make it a lot easier for you to get rich or make any other dream come true. Chapter 2: Successful people have an unwavering faith in themselves. Having an unwavering faith in yourself is a way of making sure that you can, and will, achieve your goals. You can only achieve success if it's based on self-confidence and an unwavering faith in yourself. No wealth has ever been acquired, no faraway continents ever discovered, nothing ever invented without this faith as its basis. One paradigmatic example of the power of faith was Mahatma Gandhi. Even without access to the typical instruments of power, like money or the military, he managed to defy British colonial power and lead his country to freedom. The only backing he had was his unbending belief that he could exercise an influence so great upon his fellow countrymen that they would stand up for their common goals. Our own faith in ourselves has an enormous influence on our self-image and way of life. It can, in the truest sense of the word, help us move mountains. Chapter 3: By using autosuggestion, our subconscious can influence our behavior. Unwavering faith in yourself is not necessarily something you're born with or that falls from the sky. Anybody can develop it, bit by bit, through autosuggestion. Autosuggestion describes a way of influencing yourself by thinking very specific and purposeful thoughts or ideas. You can use it to convey certain commands or positive goals to your own subconsciousness and, in doing so, to increase your own belief in yourself. In general, autosuggestion consists of persuading yourself that you can reach your goals, your thoughts can be transformed into reality, and you must go your own way with confidence. The more you use autosuggestion, the likelier it is that it will help you achieve success. If you impress your desires and goals in your unconsciousness, it will steer all your thoughts and actions towards making them come true. Chapter 4: Knowledge is power, but it doesn't have to be what you learned in school. Knowledge can make it a lot easier to achieve your aims in life. All you have to do is take a few basic points into consideration. First of all, you need to take the traditional meaning of knowledge and education and throw it out the window. Because being knowledgeable or well-educated isn't limited to having a high school diploma or university degree. Uneducated people can also know a heck of a lot, as Henry Ford clearly demonstrated. Although he didn't make it to high school, it didn't stop him from establishing an industrial empire and making millions. If you want to be successful, you don't need to stuff your head with too many facts. It is far more important to acquire the right experiences and knowledge, use your own strengths, and fully exploit your own potential. The most important basis is a willingness to continue learning throughout your life. Getting complacent is your worst enemy. Instead, you must always be ready to actively and pointedly expand your own knowledge. There are many different ways to achieve this: by going to university, attending evening courses, or acquiring practical experiences. Equally useful is the ability to know where you can find the knowledge you need, because you don't need to know everything yourself. Instead, you need to know who you can ask if you need to know something. It's usually more practical and productive to be surrounded by a network of experts who share their specialized knowledge than to learn it all yourself. Chapter 5: The Workshop of the Imagination, where we can turn our dreams into reality. Each and every success story begins with an idea, and behind each and every idea is the imagination. It is, essentially, the creative workshop of our minds that transforms our dreams into ideas and our ideas into reality. This imaginative ability has two different forms: the creative imagination and the synthetic imagination. By using our creative imagination, we are able to come up with completely new things. Ingenious composers, visual artists, and writers use this function to create works unlike anything made before. The synthetic imagination, by contrast, rearranges old ideas into new combinations. The developers at Sony, for example, were using that faculty when they decided to further develop the playback device or dictaphone used by journalists, turning it into a portable music player everybody could use, and so the Walkman was born. Creative and synthetic imagination can play off one another in a productive way. Take the story of Asa Candler, who formed the global brand Coca-Cola out of a headache medication about 140 years ago. Although it wasn't Candler himself who came up with the Coca-Cola recipe, he bought it from a pharmacist for $3,000. He developed the ingenious plans and marketing strategies that turned the product into a huge success. If you want to keep your imagination from getting sluggish, you need to challenge and encourage it. And you can achieve that by stimulating it, keeping it active, and training it like a muscle. The more frequently you use it, the more productive and powerful it will become. Chapter 6: Knowing your own strengths and weaknesses increases your chances of professional success. One important building block for professional success is an awareness of your own strengths and weaknesses. In other words, being self-aware. Since things like having vague goals, lacking ambition, procrastinating, and lacking resolve are common reasons for failure, self-awareness can help to constructively take action against these weaknesses, or at least to balance them out with your strengths. In order to be able to figure out exactly what your strengths and weaknesses are, it's advisable to perform a thorough and honest self-analysis. Don't worry, this doesn't require going to a psychologist. It's more than enough if you go through a checklist of questions, which should include: have I achieved my aim for this year? Was I always friendly, courteous, and cooperative? Did I make all decisions promptly and firmly? Then you should compare your subjective self-analysis with somebody else's objective evaluation of you. This works best when you sit down with a person who knows you really well to openly and honestly discuss your strengths and weaknesses. Chapter 7: Positive emotions are the key to a successful life and need to be strengthened. Our subconscious receives and stores sensory stimuli, feelings, and thoughts. It saves everything we've ever experienced, regardless of whether it was positive or negative. But saving information alone isn't all there is to it. Our subconscious is also constantly exercising its influence on our actions. It can shape us positively, endowing us with strength and enterprise, but it can also shape us negatively, misleading us into despondency and pessimism. And so, if we want our subconscious to help us realize our desires and goals, we have to make sure that positive feelings play a leading role in our lives. We must, therefore, feed our subconscious positive things because, if we do, it will act as a helpful and constructive guide. But if we allow ourselves to feel too many negative sensations, such as rage, hate, a desire for revenge, or pessimism, the very opposite will occur. That's why you've taken a huge step when in everyday life you're able to, for example, avoid contact with doomsaying windbags and pay no heed to their discouraging remarks. Instead, you should make it a point to increase all positive impulses, such as enthusiasm and love. That's the only way you'll end up developing a positive mentality in the long term. Chapter 8: Successful people are remarkable for their determination and steadfastness. The analysis of over 25,000 life stories of people who failed to achieve professional success shows that a lack of determination is the main reason for their failure. The analysis of the success stories of multimillionaires revealed, by contrast, that they all had two characteristics in common. They were used to making split-second decisions and, once they made them, they stood firmly behind their decisions. A certain degree of stubbornness, as long as it does not transform into a deaf obstinacy, can even be advantageous. Henry Ford, in particular, was known to stick to his decisions for a long time. For example, many people advised him to replace his famous, but not terribly beautiful, Model T with a new model. But he held onto the car for a long time and was thus able to continue bringing in sizable profits with it. Opinions are cheap. Everybody has one, and most people want to dispense them. In order to avoid running into the danger of negative influences and straining your own steadfastness, it makes sense to offer others as few opportunities as possible to express their critical opinions. People who are disheartened in particular should therefore keep their plans and intentions to themselves and not confide in anybody else, except for the members of their hand-picked team or trustworthy outsiders. Chapter 9: Only the persistent will succeed. Over the course of any project, regardless of its nature, we are all bound to encounter obstacles and difficulties. In such situations, most of us are too quick to give up our plans and let the project die. But there are a few people who, despite all the obstacles, stick to their original plans and give their dreams space to blossom into reality. Persistence and endurance are key. That means, above all, that we work constantly on the realization of our goals and don't lose sight of them. However, obstinacy and inveteracy should be avoided at all costs. If, say, there's a dire need for a price correction, you also have to be willing to implement it. If you want persistence and endurance to take root in your habits, here are 4 simple yet crucial rules. You must have a concrete goal and develop a burning desire to achieve it. You need a thorough and precise plan to support the implementation of your goals. You may not allow yourself to be influenced by negative and disheartening opinions. You need an intimate, trusting relationship to a person or a group that provides you with support and assistance. Think of these rules as a special exercise program to help you build up your personal endurance and persistence. Chapter 10: Achieving great things requires being smart and surrounding yourself with smart people. The bigger the goal, the more complex the planning. The more complex the planning, the more difficult the goal's execution. The more difficult the execution, the more dependent the brains behind the project will be on the creative, intellectual, and moral support of others. This mutual backing works best in the form of a brain trust, a select group of intelligent people. A brain trust is a union of like-minded people, which, contrary to a network, which is a more casual cooperation between partners, focuses on defining a common goal, developing competencies, and having a system of checks and balances. The most important principle of a brain trust is its synergistic effect. If 2 or more people who work well with one another combine their skills, talents, specialist knowledge, experiences, relationships, and all other resources and use them to accomplish the same shared goal, the results will be more than just a sum of its parts. It's a surplus with which you can achieve things you could have never achieved alone. Chapter 11 Summary. Your thoughts are a secret wealth generator. When author Napoleon Hill was but a boy, his mentor, Andrew Carnegie, the legendary corporate leader, shared his secret wealth-generating formula with him and challenged him to create a book that would explain this secret approach. During Hill's 20-year journey to fulfill that challenge, he studied the habits and philosophies of hundreds of corporate stars. This honor roll includes Theodore Roosevelt, John D. Rockefeller, F. W. Woolworth, and many other household names who built large fortunes based on Carnegie's wisdom. It begins with this simple idea: your thoughts are real objects. With passion and purpose, your thoughts can evolve into wealth. One comes, finally, to believe whatever one repeats to oneself, whether the statement be true or false. Every man is what he is because of the dominating thoughts which he permits to occupy his mind. Edwin C. Barnes demonstrates this principle. Barnes, an impoverished nobody, passionately wanted to launch a partnership with Thomas Edison, the great inventor. Barnes did not know Edison and could barely afford transportation to Edison's office. At their initial encounter, Edison said Barnes looked like an ordinary tramp. But behind that rundown appearance, Edison detected a spark of promise and determination that prompted him to offer Barnes a low-paying job. Barnes seized this unexpected opportunity. Naysayers had rejected the Edison dictating machine, but Barnes had faith in it. He used it as a vehicle to launch his successful partnership with Edison. Barnes created material success from abstract thoughts, based on faith, determination, and persistence. Desire, hopes, and strategies increase wealth. If your goal is to become rich, don't just wish for your dreams to come true. Desire is the starting point of all achievement, but to bring it to fruition, commit yourself to executing a plan to attain your objective. To create wealth from desire, follow this 6-step plan. 1. Take a mental snapshot of the amount of money you seek. Name a number. 2. Name your price. What are you willing to do for the money? 3. Create a deadline. Fix a date by which you will achieve your goals. 4. Start a task sheet with a definite strategy. Start now. 5. Write a brief mission statement. 6. Make a declaration. Twice a day, read your mission statement aloud. Dreams are not just thin air. Edison had far-fetched dreams of inventing an electrical lamp. He created thousands of failed prototypes before succeeding. While others stayed on the ground, the Wright brothers envisioned a flying machine. I believe in the power of desire backed by faith, because I have seen this power lift men from lowly beginnings to places of power and wealth. Other dreamers have overcome major obstacles. Beethoven composed music despite his deafness. Milton, the writer, was blind. Author Helen Keller was blind and deaf. But lit by the fire of desire, they worked on their goals and achieved epic greatness. Develop faith in your ability to succeed by telling yourself that you will triumph. Faith is the visualization of and belief in the attainment of desire. With the right tools, you can fill the fertile field of your mind with success or failure. Recite your mission statement daily to prepare your mind for success. This process, called autosuggestion, sows the seeds of mental success. It works because your mind will believe almost anything, true or not, that you tell yourself repeatedly. Dangerous thoughts also can take root in the minefield. Doubt, fear, and negative emotions can blight your success and uproot the fruits of your labor. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Autosuggestion is a dose of self-talk delivered to your subconscious mind via your 5 senses, the roadways from your conscious mind to your unconsciousness. Be warned that this conduit does not work if you operate on automatic pilot. Feel the message. Jumping from printed words to passionate feelings is not easy. Make the leap by focusing on a fixed item. Close your eyes. Create a mental snapshot of the money you want to earn. View it daily. To visualize your goals, use the 6 steps above in tandem with this 3-stage program. 1. Retreat to a quiet location with freedom from distractions. Find a peaceful environment for daily renewal, review, and recitation of your goals. Create mindful pictures of monetary success, possessions, and achievement. Visualize your date with success. Be specific. On July 4, 2011, I will celebrate my financial independence. 2. Take a daily double dose of faith. Apply this program every morning and evening. Don't stop until you achieve your financial goal. 3. Look at your mission statement twice daily. Seeing is believing. Read your mission statement first thing in the morning and last thing at night. You don't need higher education to earn higher degrees of knowledge and wealth. Knowledge is just numbers, facts, and insights. But through organization and planning, facts can assume great power. Harness that power to create wealth. So-called formal knowledge is not the last word in education. Many wealthy people spent little time in traditional classrooms, but had rich experiences. Edison went to school for only 3 months. Yet, through specialization, organization, and networking, he gained the power of a well-educated mind. It takes more than a college degree to make one a person of education. Specialization is organized knowledge applied to a specific purpose. Gain this practical know-how from apprenticeships, night schools, and other targeted training programs. Create vivid mental portraits of your success. Imagination is the workshop of the mind. Imagination operates on 2 playing fields. Synthetic imagination arranges existing ideas, concepts, and strategies into novel formats. Creative imagination bridges the definitive mind of man and the borderless universe of infinite intelligence, the land of gut feelings and hunches. The top performers in business, music, art, and literature operate in the domain of creative imagination, fueled by desire and faith. Your imagination is a muscle. Work it, develop it, and create a written plan to convert airy dreams into concrete wealth. Constantly review your plan. Repetition works. Dreams are not born of indifference, laziness, or lack of ambition. For a perfect demonstration of the fiscal power of the imagination, heed the legend of the enchanted kettle. Many decades ago, a country doctor drove his horse-drawn carriage to a small town. While in town, he debated the merits of his plain kettle with a young sales clerk. After a 60-minute discussion, the visionary young man gave the doctor his entire nest egg, $500, to buy the kettle and a secret formula the doctor wrote on a piece of paper. With that formula, a plan, and imagination, sales clerk Asa Candler created Coca-Cola. To maximize your abilities, work with a great team. Make it your mastermind. To develop your success, you need the right team. Do not skip this stage. Take these steps. Surround yourself with mastermind allies. Cultivate a support team. Employ your talents and resources to help them and invite them to assist you. Fine-tune your plan with regular support group meetings. Establish harmony with each member of the group. The mind has many layers. When a group works together, the energy of their combined individual thoughts, ideas, and plans becomes a powerful driving force. Consider the humble battery. A single electric battery has power, but the electricity of several batteries easily overshadows its force. Multiply your brain power by tapping into the infinite wisdom of the group mind, a mastermind far greater than the mental powers of each individual. Don't let short-term failure seduce you. Success often lurks in the shadows. Don't accept failure. If your initial plan fails, adopt a new strategy and persist. Identify attractive opportunities. Study the field, the company, and the individuals involved. Inventory your talents and skills. Write a detailed strategy for achieving the right job. Target the appropriate channels and people. Make your resume concise, thoughtful, relevant, and neat. Know your marketplace value. Success requires no explanation. Failure permits no alibis. Nurture success by avoiding the symptoms of failed leadership, which include failure to structure details, inability to perform humble tasks, insecurity, absence of imagination, lack of discipline and trust, over-reliance on force and authority, selfishness, and insistence on titles and honor. Remain committed to your goals and your mission. Procrastination, a top cause of failure, is your enemy. Successful leaders make quick, meaningful decisions. Being decisive gives you mastery over procrastination. Consider the advice and insights of your support group. Avoid anyone who undercuts your drive. Dodge the trap of public opinion by revealing your plans only to your small circle of advisors. When you indiscriminately broadcast your strategies, ideas, and goals, you lessen your chances of success. Keep quiet. Keep the faith. Sadly, many people surrender their dreams at the first hint of difficulty or failure. Don't be a magnet for poverty. Avoid a poor consciousness, in which negative feelings become self-fulfilling. End the cycle of poverty by creating and believing in a wealth consciousness. Everyone falls into doubt, disbelief, and depression, but you can liberate yourself via perseverance, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Keep moving even if you must go slower. No one climbs great mountains without sliding off a few trails. Nothing beats a mix of passion and discipline. Sexual desire, when properly applied, is a powerful stimulant for success, wealth, and creativity. You need passion to succeed in art, science, or commerce. This passion enhances your sensitivity to the infinite wisdom of the universe and the tiny whispers of insight from your gut. History is filled with people who were pushed to greatness by lust or love. Napoleon Bonaparte's great campaigns were largely due to the inspiration of Josephine, his first wife. Sexual energy fueled William Shakespeare and Thomas Jefferson. But most men do not succeed before age 40 because it takes at least 4 decades to understand and harness the creative force of sexual energy. Through discipline, planning, and willpower, sexual energy transcends the body and generates success and creativity. You can mold and tap into your mind's deepest chambers. Your subconscious is a connecting link that operates outside of your controlled thoughts. Use autosuggestion and planning to employ your subconscious mind. Repeat affirmations. Stay in the moment. Shun negative thoughts. Cultivate faith, desire, sex, love, energy, hope, and romance. Avoid jealousy, fear, greed, revenge, anger, and hatred. Remember the power of prayer. Your brain is a unique, broadcasting and receiving station for thought, like a radio station that transmits and receives signals. Learn to listen to the intangible forces in your life. These forces, gravity, electricity, thunder, and other elements, surround you. Use faith to stimulate your mind and reach your goals. Believe in the power of thought and belief. Life is a checkerboard and the player opposite you is time. If you hesitate before moving or neglect to move promptly, your men will be wiped off the board by time. You are playing against a partner who will not tolerate indecision. The sixth sense, the door to the temple of wisdom, is the direct connection between your subconscious mind and the infinite light of the universe. This link represents the home of your creative imagination, intuition, and premonitions. Use this force to bring you wealth, success, and creativity. Constantly repeat and review your goals. Let the universe deliver insight to your subconscious mind. Don't be hampered by the 6 basic fears: fear of being poor, fear of reproach, fear of becoming sick, fear of being unloved, fear of getting old, and fear of dying. Avoid fretting, dwelling on destructive thoughts, and don't let negativity sway you. The power of your thoughts gives you mastery and can give you money as well. Chapter 12 Conclusion. Wealth, in whatever form, is seldom the result of luck or coincidence. Far from that, it's almost always the result of different traits and skills that anyone can learn and acquire. This book and book summary answers the following questions. In this summary of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, how can we find the right goals in life, and how do we translate them into action? We can only accomplish our aims in life if we are driven by a burning desire. Goal setting and detailed planning are the basis of every achievement. Successful people have an unwavering faith in themselves. By using autosuggestion, our subconscious can influence our behavior. Which skills and knowledge are necessary for achieving success? Knowledge is power, but it doesn't have to be what you learned in school. The workshop of the imagination, where we can turn our dreams into reality. Knowing your own strengths and weaknesses increases your chances of professional success. Positive emotions are the key to a successful life and need to be strengthened. What sort of approach do successful people take when realizing their goals? Successful people are remarkable for their determination and steadfastness. Only the persistent will succeed. Achieving great things requires being smart and surrounding yourself with smart people. I hope you do enjoy watching book summary Think and Grow Rich. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share. See you in next videos.